Now, the tense situation that you just witnessed arose when voting was underway for the budgets of the Homagama as well as Dimbulagala Pradesha Sabhas. This was when the Deputy Chairman attempted to conduct a vote after the Chairman had left the chambers. The budgets of both Pradesha Sabhas was subsequently defeated. Now, Newsfirst inquired from the local government commissioner of the North Central Province regarding the validity of the voting process of the Dimbulagala Pradesha Sabha budget. She said that if sessions at the Pradesha Sabha were adjourned, there is no validity in the voting process. However, she requested for a report to be submitted to the local government commissioner in this regard tomorrow.
Welcome back to the news. The body of Nelson Mandela, the former South African president, has been taken in procession to the Union Buildings in Pretoria. The body of Nelson Mandela has arrived at the main government building in South Africa's capital, Pretoria, where it will lie in state for 3 days.
Yes, now among the state leaders who are in South Africa to pay their last respects to the country's former president is President Mahinda Rajapaksa.
Mandela's remains were taken in procession from a hospital mortuary to the Union Building. Members of the public lined the route to form a guard of honor. The public, invited heads of state and international guests, will be able to view the body of the former president who died last Thursday, aged 95. He will be buried in his home village of Kunu in Eastern Cape Province on Sunday. Tens of thousands of South Africans joined scores of world leaders for a national memorial service on Tuesday as part of a series of commemorations. The procession left the city's one military hospital shortly after 7 this morning, South African time. The coffin could be seen inside a black hearse draped in a South African flag. The hearse was in a long convoy with military outriders and military ambulances. Now, speaking at the British Parliament, Deputy Prime Minister Nicholas Clegg said that Sri Lanka should follow the former South African President Nelson Mandela's reconciliation process to bring peace and unity to its people.
When Nelson Mandela took his first steps to freedom, he made no call for vengeance, only forgiveness. He understood that dismantling apartheid's legacy was about more than just removing the most explicit signs of discrimination and segregation. And he recognised too that to build a brighter future, South Africa must confront the darkness of its past. And that is why I hope that in communities where people are still struggling to replace violence and conflict with peace and stability, the principles of forgiveness and reconciliation which Mandela embodied are followed by others too. Recently, for example, we have debated in this House the alleged human rights abuses in Sri Lanka. Surely there can be no better way for that country to heal its wounds and bring peace and unity to all its people than to follow Mandela's example and emulate South Africa's truth and reconciliation process.
Welcome back. Now, in Parliament today, UMP parliamentarian Sujiva Senasinghe raised several questions regarding the networking of postal services.
On what grounds have you employed an individual who has been accused? Out of 14 charges, he has been found guilty of 6 of the above charges. According to the Public Service Commission, he has not been proven guilty and unfit for government service. Now, if you are going to carry this forward with thieves on board, you will have to face losses like this. After spending 500 million rupees out of 600 million, your intention, Honourable Minister, was to open 200 offices during the first 3 weeks. However, Mr. Jayantha Wijayasekara, the Secretary of the Postal Services Union, says that not even 10 have been opened spending this money. Yes, we accept that there have been certain irregularities and delays.
The President stated this way back in 2007, but now this has failed as money has been embezzled. They say that 1,080 individuals have been provided with employment opportunities, but they carried out this fraud, saying they provided 1,080 jobs within a postal services computer network that does not even function.
Honorable Speaker, presently the program to network computers is being implemented successfully.
Speaking in Parliament yesterday, General Secretary of Citizens Front, Parliamentarian Jeshri Ranga, commented on the manufacturing of school uniforms.
The manufacturing of school uniforms has been given to one company without calling for tenders on the pretext of promoting local industries. A committee appointed under former Prime Minister Ratnasiri Wickramanayake determined that the textiles being used in manufacturing were of low quality. There has been no growth in local industry after this was entrusted to one person. Tariffs were removed for one person to import textiles from China and make a profit. However, they say they did this to bring forth growth in local manufacturing and to reduce imports.
අල්ලස් දෙන එකත් ලංකාවේ නීතිය වර්ධන. එක්ක මේ අල්ලස නීතිගත කරන්න ඕන. එහෙම නැත්නම් අල්ලස ගැන කතා කරන්නේ නාත්තල දාන්න.
But if you want to find out more details on Newsline, make sure you join our primetime news bulletin at 10 p.m. on our sister channel Sirsa TV at 10 p.m. today for Newsline, where a discussion or a debate will be held on the law, bribery and corruption.
Yes, that's right. Now moving into some more local news. United National Party parliamentarian Sajid Premadasa commented on allegations levelled at him by certain individuals.
The parliamentarian shared his views at a function in the Tammanava area in Kaliyawalana, which comes under the purview of the Hambantota Divisional Secretariat.
A small group which joined the party recently is saying that Sajid Premadasa has done the most damage to the United National Party. If I am causing such harm, then why do people everywhere I go ask me to take over the party? Why am I being asked to take on this responsibility and represent the poor man in the village and town without allowing the party to collapse? Why do people everywhere make this request from me?
A stock of tomato sauce and chili powder unsuitable for consumption has been found in a warehouse located in Slave Island.
The Ministry of Cooperatives and Internal Trade raided a warehouse based on a tip-off received. The Consumer Affairs Authority has seized stocks of tomato sauce and chili powder valued at 300,000 rupees.
This is a place where chili powder is manufactured. Flour such as roasted rice flour is added to the chili powder during manufacture. Fabric dye is used to get the right color, and this is clearly unsuitable for consumption. These people have another manufacturing plant, and that is where the tomato sauce is made. Corn flour and an artificial gum is used to make the sauce. The gum acts like a thickening agent. Thereafter, they use artificial coloring and tomato paste in the mixture to make the tomato sauce. We raided this place while they were releasing the products to the market.
Officer in charge of the Colombo District Raid Unit says that legal action will be taken in future in this regard.
In business news tonight, Governor of the Central Bank Ajit Niwad Cabral says that Sri Lanka needs to attract more outside savings in order to meet economic growth targets.
Yes, speaking at a conference in Colombo today, the CBSR governor noted that there needs to be consolidation in the finance sector to achieve this.
The 2013 Bank Director Symposium was held in Colombo today under the auspices of the Governor of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka, Ajit Niwad Cabral.
I believe we must now move towards the consolidation of the entire sector. Reduction of the number of finance companies, a few mergers and consolidation of banks and finance companies, which will ensure that we have bigger and better balance sheets to support a $100 billion economy. We have to be able to attract outside savings. As you know, if we are to move at 8% growth, our current level of savings in our country is not sufficient. We have to supplement that level of savings with outside savings.
Now, still in business news, 159 member countries of the World Trade Organization have agreed on a historic trade deal at the 9th Ministerial Conference in Bali, Indonesia, which will add $1 trillion to the global economy.
Newsfirst Stephanie Lazarus filed this report on how this deal will benefit developing countries like Sri Lanka.
It is so agreed.
After fruitless negotiations for 12 years, the World Trade Organization reached an accord in Bali, Indonesia this month, which made it the first global agreement struck by the Geneva-based body since its inception in 1995. The three main aspects that were agreed upon by all the WTO member countries were trade facilitation, agriculture and development. At present, WTO members are engaged in the Doha round of negotiations, known as the Doha Development Agenda because of its focus on development issues. The round was launched in 2001 and focused on negotiations in agricultural and non-agricultural market access, trade facilitation, implementation issues of developing countries and issues of concern to least developed countries. However, the progress on the DDA slowed down considerably since 2008, with two ministerial conferences in 2009 and 2011 ended with no negotiations.
This is a stepping stone for the Doha Development Agenda, to complete the Doha Development Agenda, where all developing countries will benefit from this multilateral free agreement. It will cut the transaction cost of all the business of doing trade by implementing this trade facilitation measure. So the people who are already exporting will benefit from this. Imports also will face less barriers at the customs. With the Doha Development Agenda, the multilateral trading system has got a boost. WTO has become stronger. So all countries will have to abide by the WTO rules and regulations, and this in turn is beneficial for developing countries.
Will this trade deal, which is being lauded the world over, have any realistic effect on the lives of ordinary Sri Lankans? Economists say that the historic trade deal will speed up customs procedures, make trade easier, faster and cheaper, and even promises extra growth and job opportunities globally. But the question that still resonates is whether Sri Lanka will be on course to reap the benefits from this historic deal in an international trade that is still an unlevel playing field.
Now, moving into some sports news, it's cricket. Sri Lanka and Pakistan are currently underway in the first of two T20 internationals that are taking place. Now, Sri Lanka, they need to win or avoid losing the series 2-0 to stay atop the rankings. Pakistan, on the other hand, need to win the series 2-0 in order to leapfrog Sri Lanka into the #1 position.
Yeah, Madhushka, and the match actually got underway a short while ago. Pakistan won the toss and decided to field first at the Dubai International Cricket Stadium. Just a quick look at the teams, Madhushka, for this match, the first T20. The Sri Lankan team is kept by Dinesh Chandimal and also includes veterans like Kumar Sangakkara, there's Thisara Pereira, Lahiru Thirimanne, Angelo Matthews, Ajantha Mendes, Lasith Malinga, Sachitra Senanayaka, Kusal Janith Pereira, Nuwan Kulasekara, TM Dirshan are making up the Sri Lankan lineup for this match, Madhushka. So it's going to be a quite interesting match for Sri Lanka.
Especially against the young Pakistani outfit, but you can catch that obviously on national television. But for us, from the Newsfirst desk, I'm Madhushka Balasuriya, wrapping up.
And I'm Mahina Bongzo. We leave you with a look at the weather. Good night.